We have got some great guests in studio right now as we talk weekly with the Mason County Economic Development Council. James Thomas on the air, and he's brought in a local businessman, Steve Bloomfield. Good morning, Steve. Good morning, James. How you guys doing?
Good morning, Jeff.
Everything's good. Sun's up.
Sun's up, and it is nice to talk with you both here. We're kind of doing a little bit of a business spotlight on things. First things first, so James, quick impressions on last Thursday's Regional Innovation Expo there at the...
It was a terrific day with, I haven't heard the final numbers yet, but apparently the biggest turnout ever for the expo.
Oh, that's great.
And Bill Connerly gave, as usual, an insightful keynote address. Everybody had a great time, and it was a terrific day.
I look forward to maybe the next time we gather, have a little bit more of a debrief on some of the things that we could take from it and move forward in the next year. How's that sound?
Wonderful.
All right,
One of my messages there was, it's a great day to be in Mason County, and Jeff, today is another great day.
It is.
And I am so proud to bring by one of the guys who makes Mason County a great place to be, and his company does as well, Seattle Shellfish. Sorry, Steve.
That's okay.
Steve, how you doing?
Doing good.
Let's introduce you to folks who, for whatever reason, I guess, don't know you. You're a man about town. Seattle Shellfish, how long has Seattle Shellfish been in business?
Well, it was a startup company in 97.
Okay.
So we're 20 years into it now.
Man, that is something else. Why is it called Seattle Shellfish?
Well, because most of our product gets exported to China.
Uh-huh.
Now, if somebody said Shelton shellfish or Olympia shellfish, hardly anybody in China would know where that was at. So we Jim Gibbons, the president and founder of the company, decided, well, we'll go with a name that at least on the map they'll know where it's from.
Interesting. That's a good point. And that kind of ties into some things that we talk about often with the EDC, how we can better put Mason County on the map and be its own. Because I know what you're talking about. You look at maps, and it hardly ever even says Olympia, which is the state capital. It always says Seattle on there.
Yep.
And as you probably know, Seattle Shellfish does a huge business in gooey duck.
Yeah.
And as you probably also know, I lived in China for a couple of years, and probably ate some of Steve's gooey ducks when I was there. Gooey ducks, I did indeed, and prospered, thank you.
How many employees you guys have?
Well, currently, I just checked last week. This is the time of the year we're at our lowest employment level. It's running about 83.
I mean, that's pretty good for the low of the year.
Yeah, in the summer we were running 106 plus some temporaries.
Uh-huh.
We hired 10 or 15 temporaries daily.
Wow.
So we're 120 max, somewhere around there during the summer.
That's great. That really puts a lot of money back into the coffers of Mason County and helps out the local community. 20 years, what's the growth been like?
Well, growth is it's compressed because to raise a gooey duck, it takes at least 5 years, and more like 6 or 7 before you harvest your product. Well, you start with no crop.
Right.
So you're waiting 7 years before you harvest. And
oh, geez.
A
lot of hand-wringing, I'd imagine, in those 7 years.
There were some lean times.
I bet.
When I was approached to come to work for Seattle Shellfish, Jim hired me. I was working down at Bay Center doing nothing, or really nothing that I wanted to do. And he hired me, and the next day he called me up and said, hey, did I mention I didn't have any money to pay you? That's how I got involved, and he gave me stock in lieu of money.
And what do you do these days for the company?
Well, I'm mostly political liaison work, and most recently we did a rewrite of a lease agreement with the county, and I did that. Just politics and book work and contacts around, but this is the tail end of it. I'm retiring and walking away after a fashion,
sure,
and trying my hand at some other things.
What's a good business like this in the community, 20 years strong? That means a lot.
It's wonderful, and one of the points that I don't want to slide by is that Seattle Shellfish and Steve in particular have been huge supporters of a lot of wonderful causes in Mason County. And Steve, as you probably know, has been involved in with the Economic Development Council, with the county commission. He has been a real asset to the community.
So when you do, because you had to spend some time on the county commission and things like that.
I
So
did.
looking at it from both sides of the business aspect, even the shellfish industry aspect, and then from the county commission side, what are some of the things you saw from both sides with permitting and how that changed over the years, and then just business in the county?
Jeff, we're probably some of the luckiest people in the world to live in Mason County and do business in Mason County. Our commission has been very pro-business for a long time, and they understand that government can't work without business.
Right.
And if you start putting restrictions where business becomes untenable, then you are killing the backbone of your community. And so we're very fortunate in that historically we've been a great place to do business. And there's been some tough times. There always are tough
Sure.
times. There's swings of the pendulum, economic pendulum, always will be.
Yeah.
But the ease of doing business in Mason County helps mitigate that.
You hear the same thing of other businesses around the area?
Absolutely, and that really came through at the expo as well. That Mason County, among many of the others, really has worked hard to make this an inviting community for existing and new businesses.
Jeff, I think something that gets overlooked frequently is the willingness of one business to help another business in Mason County.
Sure.
We go out of our way at Seattle Shellfish to help anybody with a startup if we can. If there's a way we can help facilitate their success, their movement here, hey, we'll help buy them a cup of coffee and we'll get it started.
Where are some of the beds, or where are you guys located so people drive by and see?
Well, we have land in Oakland Bay right here in Shelton. We have land on Hartstein Island, Totten Inlet, Eld Inlet, all over South Puget Sound, Nisqually Reach, Key Peninsula.
Oh, wow.
So we're scattered around. We have maybe 100 independent little farms.
That's got to be good for diversity in the county.
It is, but Steve, am I correct in saying that we'd have a hard time buying a gooey duck from you because your export demand is so strong?
We don't sell directly to the public at all.
Oh, wow.
And the Chinese kind of dictate price on gooey duck, and the price is high enough that it's hard for local business or anything to be able to compete with that and make money.
Yeah.
It's that high. Are we trying? Yes, we're trying, and we're making an effort to try to domestically circulate more product. We hate being 100% dependent on foreign sales.
Sure.
That's a bad thing too.
Yeah.
But to get a fair balance of trade, that's what we really want to achieve in the tail end.
Was that hard to build that relationship with China?
Well, the groundwork was placed with by state sales. Farming of gooey ducks is pretty recent. The state sales came first, and that promotion, a lot of promotion came through independent companies that did that, and refined by farming, the people that farm.
Jeff, the Chinese people are very, very fond of gooey duck and are also very attuned to the poor state of Chinese waters. Lots of pollution. There are constant food scandals. And one of the things that makes Seattle Shellfish product so valuable there is that we really invest in keeping clean waters, and that's understood. and that is a real sales advantage.
That's one thing I've worked on my whole career is clean water.
Yeah.
It's very important. It's the image, not and the lifestyle of the community depends on clean water.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Anything else, James, from the EDC perspective here?
Well, I guess I would like to again ask Steve about their Seattle Shellfish's commitment to the community and their long-standing support.
Yeah, what's 2018 and the future looking like?
Well, I think expanded oyster sales. We got in the oyster business recently. By recently, within the last 2 years, we're now selling. I don't know. Daily basis, I got no idea, but more than $1 million worth of oysters per year.
Wow.
That we hope that will double over the next couple of years. Most of that's domestic, but we plan on marketing in China with those as well.
Wow.
That's something that we're working on, and we want to continue to expand, more utilize the land we lie on first, and get it a higher production rate, more controlled within what we have, and take it one step at a time. But our commitment to the community goes a lot deeper than just saying, hey, we're supplying jobs. Our commitment to the community is a idea that we're responsible to the community.
Sure.
Our response is we are investing in our future by helping school kids graduate from high school. Our investment to the community goes to making sure somebody doesn't go hungry, has clothing, has a place to live. Our commitment goes across the board in all those things, and if we can help, we will. There's always limits on business how much you can give away.
Yeah.
But we are dedicated to the future of this community and all the communities here that we do business in, because that is how our business is going to succeed. We're going to commit ourselves to success of the community.
Well, good 20 years in the community and hoping for another 20 or more strong as a great partner too in Mason County.
And as Steve moves into retirement, we certainly hope that that it stays semi-retirement and
yeah, enjoy yourself a little bit.
I plan on that. I'm going to sit back and, believe it or not, finish a book I started a couple of years ago.
Gosh, well, that'll be exciting then.
Most people don't know I really know how to read and write.
We'll leave it right there, I guess. Steve and James, thanks for coming on, guys. Good to see you both.